March 18th, 2026, 10:11 a.m. Outside of Deserano, this is Jason Two-Step Van Alstyne. He is a stroke victim. He is guilty of 7 years stalking, torture, brain injury me, identity theft, and attempted homicide with intent to commit identity and disability fraud, stalking, tortures for 7 years with and for Ontario Provincial Police. Robert Kane 7224, Spencer Mills 14716, ex-chief or commander, year 2019 that had me shot, obviously with Mark, who is guilty of murder against my mother, attempted murder against me. Stalking, tortures, and attempted homicide. Brain injury me. He's outside at Deserano. Attempted homicide. These are all slave traffickers, gang stalkers for OPP. There's also a Robert Barry. Bert Hustler and a guy known as Bob Cross or Bill Wooldridge. They're both guilty of stalking, torturing, and causing my mother's death, killing her December 20th, 2020. For Ontario Provincial Police revenge. Child groomer and stalker, gang stalker. Bert Hustler. Tyler Lake. Brandon Berry and his daddy. Child stalker for ex-OPP chief or commander, the one that thinks that he and I were switched at birth and thinks that he is my dad, was calling my mother mom, the guy known as Bill Wooldridge, aka Bob Cross. Now bald glasses, sometimes a goatee, or was. Obsessed stalker, meth head, rape hound, sex slave trafficker, Blair Hardy Kane, alleged OPP supervisor. Another picture of Jason Van Alstyne. Each and every one of them are guilty of first-degree murder and attempted murder with and for Ontario Provincial Police. Full brain injuring, stalking, torture crimes, and my full identity theft has been done against me. Serious brain injuring. I now share DNA with each and every one of these pieces of shit lowlives, and I am the end of my bloodline. I was forced confined, put under gag orders for stalking, torture, and slavery, attempted homicide against me with intent to commit. Death threats against my family members, grave destroying, soapy butt squirter, threats of putting me in a hole, forced confinement, limited to no freedom of movement while going through identity theft and identity changes that have been done against me, the gassing, the piss and shit torture that's been done, my medical rights, my legal rights, my human rights have been taken from me while I am being lobotomized for a hate crime against me to prevent any arresting and charging on police and anybody else for their crimes. By the end of this day, Hartwicks, Hearns, Lake, Van Alstyne, and everybody else involved, one way or another, I'm going to see you arrested. I'm going to see you put in fucking cuffs, and I'm going to get the medical help that I should have been given a long time ago to prove the internal damages before it's too fucking late, before this is actually finished. This is why you gag ordered me. This is why you forced confined me. And this is why I was put under constant stalking and limited to no freedom of movement to prevent me any medical help. Right now, there's also a cop and his family member who is guilty of first-degree torture and attempted murder. It is a hate crime against me. It is a race crime. And one way or another, regardless of who it is and where it is, I want this person arrested and charged for first-degree premeditated attempted murder, brain injury, and torture crimes, and a hate crime against me. Without any threats, without any intimidations, because who it is. It's time to move on this. I am not going to be slave tortured, and I am not going to be traffic victim, and I am not going to be brain injured anymore by a bunch of low life pieces of shit. Jason Van Alstyne, Tyler Lake, one way or another, whether you're in the garage or whether you are back in Napanee, I am going to see you in fucking cuffs, you little garbage. Bert Hustler as well. I am not your slave, and I am not going to go through this anymore to be physically changed by a bunch of gay sex offenders. Seven years and 7 months of going through this, for me speaking of police crimes, the human trafficking, the homeless exploitation for monetary gain, the constant piss and shit torture, the jizz torture, the sex assaults that's been done, the illegal prisoner tracking that's been put on me, the lies about psychological record and history, the lies about criminal history, lies about drugs, lies about being suicidal self-harmer, and a bunch of other garbage has been thrown out against me, and none of it is fucking true. And to the weed people, I am not your slave, and I am not going to be stalked, tortured anymore over Google reviews. I am not going to be brain injured, lobotomized in hopes to get away with this. I am not your slave. I am not your boy, and I am not going to go through this anymore, regardless of who you are.